Hello everybody, it's Toy Reaper, and today we are going back into tutorial mode. We're going to be going over some basic redstone contraptions. These are the most used, just redstone circuits, I would say, that I use pretty frequently on all of my redstone builds. So yeah, just we're gonna go through each one, just tell you what they do, and I'm gonna give you a little tutorial on how to build each one. I'm not gonna have material lists because, as you can see, they're all pretty small. Like I said, these are just basic circuits that I think everybody will need to know to make their lives better in Minecraft. So let's keep this short and let's just get right into it. So the first one we have here is a T flip-flop, which in just basic terms, it makes a button function as a lever would. So as you can see here, like right now, just for one output, you have this lamp, it's turned off. Press this button, now that lamp will stay on. It stays on until you press the button again. This is also good if instead of just turning one thing on and off, you're wanting to swap power back and forth between two things, because you can take two separate outputs from it. So you can see here, if you do it, it swaps from one side to the other with this little setup. But you don't have to do that. Normally this is just used just for turning a short pulse into a permanent signal. But it doesn't have to have a button right there, just so long as you're getting that dropper there hard powered, i.e. having a repeater coming into it, having a button on it. So you can see the button here, it does the exact same thing. But that's what it does, and the way it works is it's going to start off with an item in this top dropper here, and that's why this lamp's turned on. When you press this button, it puts an item into the hopper, goes down over into the bottom dropper, which is why this one comes on. And it stays there until you press the button again, which just puts that item into this dropper and resets the whole system. So let's get right into building it. Alright, so we're going to start off with a dropper and put one facing straight up, one on top of that facing to the side, one hopper facing into the bottom dropper, and then one hopper going into the bottom hopper. So it's just going to make one big loop. Alright, and then now the next part is just going to be coming beside this top dropper here and putting a comparator coming out of it. And then the only thing left is whatever input that you want to have, just put a button there or have redstone coming into it, and then just put whatever item that you want inside your dropper, and there you go. One T flip-flop, all done and dusted, just like that. Super easy. Let's move on to the next one. Alright, the next setup we have here, the next circuit, is just like item unloading stations. We've got one that's more, it's cheaper as far as resource goes, but then we have like the better version here. Just for if you're wanting to get materials, it's a sticky piston down there at the bottom, but you'll see that shortly. Basically this is good for like item collections at farms, if you're wanting to move all the items from one place to another. If you have items come in and that creative menu, but if we have these items here come in to that hopper, they'll all get dispensed out and thrown into the water stream or whatever, and then just the same thing here. So you just make some sort of tunnel or drop chute or water stream, whatever the case may be. But that's all these are gonna do. The way this works is that it has a comparator out the back that detects whenever there is items in there. On this one, anytime there is anything in there, this piston pushes the observer forward, creates a redstone clock, spitting all the items out. The one over here, this comparator, whenever you have it in subtract mode, it has the signal that comes around and it powers the dropper, but every time it does, it turns this comparator off and then back on again. But the problem with this one is if you get too many items in here, the comparator will just it will just stay on and it'll stop putting items out. If you decide to go with this one and you start running into that problem, the way to fix it is just replace this piece of redstone right here with another repeater, and then you won't have that problem anymore. It's one tick slower for each item that gets thrown out, but it doesn't get clogged up when you've got too many items in there. But I'm going to show you how to build both of these. You can try them out, see which one works better for you. But yeah, they're both pretty simple, but let's get right into it. Alright, we're going to start with the one on the right using the sticky piston. This is my preferred method. This is it's just the more reliable one. To me, it's better. You can dig out underneath it, but if you're wanting to build it above ground, you're going to want to go to 3 blocks up. So you get 2 here with a dropper on top of that. And then coming out the back, we're going to have a block right behind it. Another block down 1 and over 1 from that with a comparator. With the comparator is going to be going into a block, and then down beneath that, a sticky piston with a piece of redstone dust on top. And then in front of that sticky piston, I'm going to have one observer facing up like that. And then right here, we're going to have an observer facing down going into that block beside the dropper. And then however you want to have the items coming into it. But that's how this one works, and then all you do is just throw an item in there and it gets shot out. As many items as you throw in there, they will get thrown out. The next one, this one's a little bit simpler, a lot easier to build early game. It's a lot cheaper resources. It's a little bit slower, a little less reliable as far as unloading and then reloading the chunk. So if you leave and come back again, there's a chance that it might mess up. I haven't really ran into this issue much, but I have seen it once. And for me, that was enough to not want to use this unless I absolutely had to. But yeah, we're just going to start off having a dropper facing whichever way you want it to face. Have a comparator coming out of the back of that. And then left click on that, or L2, or left trigger, or right click if you're on a computer. But interact with it. Turn that light on. It's in subtract mode now. Put a repeater out in front of it with a block in front of that with a piece of redstone dust to the side of it. And then coming back around, we're just going to go ahead and do the modified version here. I've never had this one break, so put a repeater right there, have a block right next to this dropper, and then just 2 pieces of redstone dust. And then once again, just however you have your items coming into it, they get put in there. It will launch those out. Just to show you, we get a whole bunch of items here. And put them here. You can see when I put a bunch of them in there, this one still works. It's just kind of slow. Whereas if it has a piece of redstone dust right there, and you put a bunch of these items in here, it's going to start off working, and then it locks itself. So the only way that I have found to fix this and keep it from happening is just swapping that out. Then it slows down that clock some to where it'll actually turn off. It has something to do with this comparator being in subtract mode, the signal strength that it has coming through the back of it as opposed to what's coming in the side. The side pulse needs to be stronger. It's complicated, but this way works. So just know that. But yeah, like I said, I would definitely go with this version, but early game, this one is a lot easier to build. It's a lot easier to get the resources for. So it's nice to know anyways. Just something to keep in your back pocket for whenever you need it. But let's move right along to our next project here. And this one's, I don't really have a word for this one. I'm sure if you've used observers at any point, you've run into the issue of you're getting a second pulse from the observer when you don't want to. The biggest instance I can use for this is me building sugarcane farms. You know, you want to read when the sugarcane grows in front of this piston so it can go off. But then the problem you run into is every time the piston goes off, it updates the observer and then it just starts this clock. So what we have here is whenever something grows or gets placed in front of this, if you're using it for converting concrete, the piston pushes it over, it doesn't get a second pulse again. So you can see whenever it goes off, this piston, the repeater right there, gets locked in the off position. So yeah, this is good. Like I said, I don't know what to call it, but it's definitely useful. I've used this a lot. I use this on all of my sugarcane farms. So because I like growing them too high, but you know, whatever you want to use it for, I'm just here to show you how to do it, so let's get right to it. See what I did there? I'm a poet and didn't even realize it. Alright, so we're going to start off with whatever you're wanting to actually observe, have the observer there. And then the main thing is just timing. We're going to have a repeater on 4 ticks all the way back. Going into a block, repeater, 4 ticks, going into a block with a piece of redstone dust right there. And then you're going to have another repeater going back towards this first one, also set on 4 ticks. And then this first block here, you can take your output from that to go to your piston that you have, or whatever you're needing to power, and there you go. It gets pushed out of the way, repeater gets locked off, doesn't go off again. So, you know, you can keep doing this. Don't do it too quick a succession like that, because it's still locked in the off position. But yeah, you know, I mean, it's a little quirky. It's very specific when you can use this, but I do know that there are some times in my basalt farm, actually, I use this. So yeah, this is good to have. But let's go right along to your next one. One of the things that I have a tutorial on is a 9-way randomizer. And for a lot of things, that's great. You want to have a bunch of different outcomes, a bunch of different options, but sometimes you just want something smaller. Sometimes you just want to have 2 different options that can happen. So this right here is just a simple 2-way randomizer. So you know, you press this button and either the first torch or the second torch is going to be on. And it's completely random. That time it swapped over, so we've got the second torch on. Second torch stays on again. Second torch. Second torch. And then we're back to the first torch. But you can see it's random because we've got 3 non-stackable items and then 3 stackable items. So if you get a stackable item over here, the first torch will be on. If you get a non-stackable item, the second torch will be on. So once again, you know, this is a lot easier to build than the 9-way randomizer, and it's great if you're just wanting to do something small where you either like press a button and you either win or you don't, or you throw a diamond in and you either win or you don't. This is just a really simple way to do that. But let's go ahead and get right into showing you how to build this thing. So we're going to start off, we're going to have a dropper right here, and then we're going to have a dropper right in front of that to where they are facing each other. So now we've got those 2 droppers that are facing to each other, and then coming out of the back here, we just want to have 1, 2, 3 blocks. And we're going to be taking a comparator reading of this dropper. So we're going to have a comparator, and then you've got 2 blocks in front of it. Now next to these 2 blocks, 1 block down, we're just going to have a repeater there. Those are going to have blocks in front of them and blocks over them. Now the blocks in front of them are going to have these redstone torches on them. These blocks are also going to have repeaters on top of them. On these, we're just going to have 2 pieces of redstone dust and then 2 pieces of redstone dust. And then we're going to put blocks on top of these torches, on top of the torches, with redstone torches on the side of those as well. And then all you're going to want to do is just come get you, you know, however you want to stack your odds, get some non-stackable items. You're going to start with 1 in this dropper, the one over here that you're reading from. Start with 1 in there, and then just the rest of whatever you're going to use, put them over here in the right one. And then the only thing left for you to do is to use whatever kind of input system that you want to use. I'm just going to put a button on here, but just put a button. So right now we've got a netherite sword over there. We press the button. The torches didn't change, but now we have a wooden sword. Alright, in our last circuit, the one that I probably use more than anything else is just a simple item sorter. In the tutorial, I'm not going to have the water stream because obviously you can do a water stream. I will tell you that doing it this way is the most reliable way to get hoppers to work, because I've had a video before showing you to line this up with like a chest and then glass panes so the items can flow over here but still get picked up. That's broken right now. The hoppers won't actually pick those up, but doing it this way, they're on the outside so they don't drop down inside your hopper. But I'll show you that. Right now I've got this item filter set up for smooth stone, so if we throw a smooth stone in here, we're going to see it go over here, and it gets picked up by the hopper. But if we were to throw a slime block in here, that would either go along and go wherever you put it, whether it be into another sorter or whatever. And these, you can put them right next to each other. It is based on with the overflow protection, so you can have as many of these right next to each other as you'd want to. But you know, we can throw all these in here, and we'll see all the smooth stone gets picked up, all the slime ends up down at the end there. So really easy, very, very useful, and I'm going to show you how to do it right now. Is we're going to have a chest and just have some sort of block above it for now. And then we're going to put a hopper going into the back of both of those. Once you do that, you can replace it. You can take this out, you can put stairs there or whatever, some sort of transparent block, or you can leave it open, it doesn't matter. But we're going to come right here. You're going to have a comparator coming out of the back of this top hopper. On the bottom here, we're going to have a repeater going into that block, and then you're going to skip one and have a block with a redstone torch. That redstone torch right there is going to lock this bottom hopper, so no matter what's in the top hopper, it will not go through. And now right above this, we're going to have a solid block and a glass block. You have to have a glass block above this torch, or else it's going to burn out and it's not going to work. And then the only thing left is to just put redstone dust across the top of those 3 blocks, and that is your circuit done. And then the way you set up this filter is this top hopper here. You're going to want to use whatever your filter item is. You're going to need 4 of those. And normally what I'll do is either find something that I know for a fact will not be going through the system, or I will rename it, like rename these bone blocks to filter. But you come in here, you're going to put your filter items on the right hand side on these 4, so you just have that one slot open. That first spot is going to take 41 items, so we're just going to put some in there. That'll bring it down to 41. One thing is, you may notice one item missing whenever you do this, because occasionally this bottom hopper will hold one item in it just because of the timing on it, the way it gets locked. But normally, if you have enough of an item to where you're filtering through it, you're not going to miss that one. But now, just to show you how that this works, if we come up here and we try and throw a hay bale in, it will not go in. And there's bug with hoppers, so don't leave it on there. But if we throw one of these in, that gets sucked up and it goes through. But yeah, while we're here, let's discuss this and find it on the bug tracker. Since this hopper is a filter and it can only pick up honeycomb blocks and bone blocks, you throw this hay bale on there, it's trying to pick it up, but it can't. So while that's on there, if you throw any other items on there, it does not pick them up. So that's something to keep in mind. Don't end your, if you have a water stream like this one, don't have your filter on this last block, because if these slime blocks were there, it would no longer work, and then all of those are going to go to waste. But yeah, you know, now it's going to filter out your items. It's going to pick these out as they're going by, and it's going to take all of them and put them down into this chest for you. This is one of my favorite things, because I hate trying to work on storage. I hate trying to go through all my shulker boxes and put stuff up. I can't stand it. I will just leave stuff laying everywhere. Doing this way, I've got my shulker box unloader. It takes all my items, puts it through my storage system, it sorts everything. Everything is put in the right chest, and I do not have to worry about it. But these are what I consider to be the most useful redstone circuits, the ones that I use more than anything else. I hope that learning about these will help you and encourage you to do more with redstone. I'd love to see some of the crazy contraptions that y'all are building with these. If you have any ideas for me, please be sure to let me know down in the comment section. If this video does help you out and you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like on it. If you want to learn more about redstone, you're wanting to see more about farms and tutorials and maybe a little crazy let's play coming up in the near future, maybe you want to be a part of it, hit that subscribe button. We got more stuff coming out soon. I'm getting back at it. We're going just crazy with it. I'm loving making videos again. But I will catch you in the next one. Y'all have a great New Year's, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.